bring their legs under themselves and carry themselves, as we call it. And then at the very highest levels of dressage, we have what's called collection. So most horses, when they very first start going, you know, they're moving out, they look very nice. But we start asking them to really engage their hind legs, engage their muscles, and come together. We ask for a little bit shorter step, and the hind legs to step more up and down. And that's where the impulsion comes into play. Now, as you see Rudy going around, he's very natural at this. He naturally, as a nice horse, just does this. He steps through the hind leg very actively forward in this nice relaxed rhythm that you see. And Holly's just riding with this, asking him to just keep this rhythm and just work with her through this tempo to engage and come to the bridle. Now you'll also notice that the bridle that Holly's using has 2 sets of reins. In the highest levels of dressage, we do use 2 bits in the horse's mouth. Now, we have to be very careful with this. Yes, it could hurt the horse's mouth in the wrong hands. But from riders and trainers like Holly that have done this for years and years, it's a very light contact. It's just literally finger wiggles that can ask the horse to come a little round. And this way, this helps him to understand what she's asking him to do. Okay? All right, she's going to keep warming up a little bit here. This is called canter. This is a 3-beat gait. And as you can see, Rudy goes around very nice in a slow rhythm here because he's listening to Holly and she's telling him canter in this rhythm, no faster. And this is relaxed. And what I would like you to notice, and this is the big thing about dressage, about when I'm talking the hind leg and the engagement, horses naturally carry themselves on their forehand. And over time, this wears out the joints in the front legs, and they can become lame, and that can end the career of a horse. So even back from the times of when horses were used in battle, this was a very big problem. They needed their horses to last a long time. So the horse masters, even back in the days of Xenophon, learned that if they could get the horse to rebalance itself and shift its weight more to the hind leg, then it had a longer usable lifespan. And that made the horses more lasting. So we use this even in today. We constantly are asking the horse to shift his weight back on those hind legs. We use that hind end of himself where he's got a lot of muscle to carry. And that way he will be able to do this for longer. Most dressage horses are able to be ridden and competed well up into their 20s, which if you are into horses, you know that's a very long time. All right, Holly, you ready to get into some movements? All right, we're going to go ahead and go back to walk and just do a couple things in walk so I can let y'all know kind of what she's doing. So we're going to go back to some more basic movements. One of the first things that we teach a horse is shoulder in. Okay, so what Holly's going to do is have the horse walk straight, and she's going to ask the shoulders to come in off the track. So the hind legs track straight and the shoulder comes in. Now this is one of the first things we use to teach the horse how to step under himself and how to rebalance. Okay? Alright, now she's going to turn. She's still doing shoulder in. Now Holly, on this other side, if you'll do haunches in for us. So on this other side, she's going to come down and the front end of the horse will track straight and the haunches will come in. Okay? This helps the horse become strengthened in his hind leg there to step across in the back. And also he's responding to her weight and her outside leg so that she has control over his body. This was very important back in the days of battle as well, because if a horseman was in battle, then he had to be able to instantaneously get his horse to do whatever it needed to do at that moment. It could mean life or death in a battle. So those horses had to be so well trained in listening to the rider, even in all the things going on around it, that he responded immediately. Okay? Alright, so Holly, if you will also now come to the center and do turn on haunches. And these are all movements that Holly does in her competitions that she scored on. And she does very well at it. So here she's turning the horse around the back end. His back end should stay fairly stationary as she brings the front end around. Okay? And she'll come around and she'll do it the other way. And all of these things build When we get on into the trot and the canter work, you're going to see her do other movements that will have built off of this from when he learned how to do this. And he's turning on the haunches this way. All right, Holly, if you'll walk on forward and then do a halt and rein back. Okay, so here she's going to ask the horse to step backwards. All right, good. All right, so these are just exercises that we use when we're training the horse to help him learn how to use his body and respond to our aims the way we're asking him to. We have to get these things done and walk before we can go on to trot and canter. Otherwise, the horse will not understand. So Holly's going to do the shoulder in the trot now. Okay, so once again, the shoulders are coming off the track while the hind end stays straight and he tracks up under himself. All right, haunches in. Now we'll do the haunches will come in off the track. As you can see how he changed his body there so that he can bring the haunches in off the track. So Rudy has learned over all his training how to balance his body and do that. Most horses, it takes sometimes several years for them to learn how to do that. It changes their body weight a lot. So let's go ahead and look at some lateral work. So we do leg yield and we also do what we call as a half pass. So Holly, can you demonstrate a leg yield first? This is where she's going to ask the horse to step sideways off of her inside leg. And you'll see his legs start to cross as he comes over. So his whole body comes over to the side, okay? Very nice. One more the other way. All right, so now once the horse starts learning how to do that, then we turn this into what we call as a half pass, where he's going to be bent in the same direction that he's crossing his legs. This is a very collected exercise where the horse really has to use his whole body. Okay, one more time the other way. Lovely. Let's give Holly a round of applause for that, please. All right, so now we're going to demonstrate some medium trot. So right now you see Rudy going around in a trot. This is considered a collected trot, where it's a shorter, more animated step. But she'll, in just a moment, come across the diagonal. There she goes. She's going to ask him to step out and cover more ground. But his balance needs to stay the same. So she'll come across the diagonal here, and we'll see him really stretch forward and reach with his legs. He's taking a bigger step there. Lovely. Round of applause if you like. Go ahead and clap if you will. All right, now we're going to push her a little harder. We're going to ask for extended trot, which is the biggest trot that they can do. It is a little bit tight in this arena, so we might only get a couple of steps, but she's going to go for it, okay, guys? All right, Holly. Biggest trot. Yeah, there you go. Look at those legs, y'all. Lovely. All right. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move into the canter work now. All right, so back to our 3B gait here. So normally, if Holly was just at home and she was schooling, she would do the same exercises, the shoulder in, haunches in, and half passes. Let's go ahead and see a half pass and canter, Holly. So once again, he's going to go sideways now. Watch his legs, he bends and he goes sideways while he's cantering. And a flying change. Let's do a half pass this way. Change. All right, so there we go. So let's go ahead and discuss the flying change. So right now you see Rudy going around on what we call a right lead canter. Both the right legs are coming more forward than the outside legs. And so what we ask the horse to do is jump from that lead on this side to the other. So watch here, and she's going to ask. And, well, we got the front. Let's try, yeah, let's get the left. Okay, one more time. It takes a long time to teach these horses. And jump. So see there, he jumped from the left lead canter to the right lead, okay? So now, once the horse learns this, then we actually start pushing him even further. And what she's going to start doing in just a moment is what we call 4 tipping changes. So every 4th stride, she will ask the horse to do that flying change from one lead to the other. So whenever you're ready, Holly. 1, 2, 3, 4, and switch. 2, 3, 4, and switch. 2, 3, 4, switch. 2, 3, good. All right. Yes. Awesome. Yeah. All right. So now we're going to go even a little more, and we're going to ask for 3. So now she's going to try to get her lead change every 3 strides. Okay? When you're ready, Holly. 1, 2, 3, and switch. 2, 3, and she's on a corner there. 1, 2, 3, and switch. 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3, switch. 2, 3. Awesome job. Good job. It's really hard trying to do all that on a circle, guys. All right. So whenever Holly is, working even higher than what she's doing now, she would go on into doing 2-time tipping changes and even single 1-time flying changes. We call those the single tippings. Rudy's he's not really quite trained to do that. So someday we're going to have another horse to demonstrate that. But there are, we would keep on pushing this into the 2-times and the 1-times, in the future. Okay. So now then, let's go ahead and demonstrate, Holly, the working pirouette. So this is like earlier when you saw the turn on the haunches at the walk. That's what establishes this movement right here. She's going to ask the horse to keep cantering while she turns the front end of the horse around the back end. So he's got to keep jumping, 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 and go. Okay, so that he has to really sit back there and keep on cantering while he's turning. So now she'll do it 1 time the other way. Let's change leads here. Change leads, and then she'll ask you in just a moment. Alright, so we're cantering and turning and turning. Better get here in a little more in the middle. So once again, this is the horse having to sit back on that hind end. That's where all his power is, and he has to really sit back on those hind legs and turn. And this is something Holly's doing in competition. She's going to be going to a competition in March, and she'll be judged on this. Okay? Beautiful. Thank you, Holly. Okay, so guys, what we've done now, Holly put together a little musical freestyle because really the fun in dressage is taking all these movements and putting them to the music. And it's going to look like Rudy's dancing to the music. So give us just a minute to get set up, and we're going to turn the music on.